Hey, y'all. Welcome. Happy New Year. All right. I got us started in the chat. We're just going to keep letting people in and we'll start in just a minute or so. Okay. But we have a good crowd so far. So if you will introduce yourself in the chat and put your favorite king cake if you have one, or if you're anti-king cake, you can also share that. If you're a king cake baker and want to put a link to your king cakes that you bake, also welcome. We'll get started in just a minute. I heard that CCFM has like 8 or no, maybe 8 or 18 different types of king cakes at their markets this year. If someone is with CCFM and can confirm or deny.
Stacy's here.
Yes.
Yes, we have 12
in between.
12 different vendors, but I think some of them have multiple king cakes. So I think you're right with 18. But yes, it is like king cake paradise at CCFM right now. And some savory ones.
Oh, Christina, Dongfeng cinnamon. Yes, yes, yes. And there is a CCFM market today at 3.
Yes, 3 until 6.
3 until 6. You can get you some of those king cakes. We'll give it another minute.
I'm planning on it.
And we will get started in just a minute. We have a good amount to go over, so super excited to chat with y'all. Just start once it slows down on letting people in, then we will get started. But again, welcome. And if you will put your name, if you are affiliated with an organization or anything, you can put that on there, and your favorite king cake. We love some Dongfeng in this room. I mean, how can you not? I'm coming into town next week and I'm bringing a whole cooler in the back of my car just to bring king cakes home.
You might not need a cooler with how cold it is here right now.
That's a good point.
Like
that is
nice
a very
outside.
That is a very good point. Next week here in Huntsville, where I am, it will be wind chill in the negative teens. That I don't
Is
even.
this your first negative experience? Negative
No,
degrees?
I mean, I grew up all over the country, so wait, hold on. Oreo Nutello potato chip? What? Eric, what? Okay,
it's true. It was decadent, and she's doing it again this year too.
There's a pistachio one, Dimitri. Oh, I gotta get that one. Those are my favorite.
Passion flower. Oh my!
I've heard on Reddit people were raving about buttermilk drops.
Oh yeah,
rendition this year. So I haven't been.
This meeting
apparently
is now a king cake club.
Yeah, the donut people are really in the game this year.
Let me tell y'all, a donut king cake is one of my favorites. It reminds me of like growing up, because I feel like the ones out in the parish back in the day used to be very donut heavy, if you will, and it makes me feel better about eating king cake for breakfast. All right. Well, we will get started, I guess, if we have to. But welcome everyone to our first sort of FPAC meeting of 2024. Oops, sorry, someone's in the waiting room. Okay. Happy New Year. Excited to have everybody back with us. Again, my name is Alyssa Munoz. I'm the director of FPAC. If you just joined, please drop your name, your affiliation if you have one, and your favorite king cake in the chat. I'm going to pass to Bryn to chat about our sort of membership, contact lists, etc.
All right, so I just dropped a link in the chat. I just want to make sure as we're coming into the new year that all of our contact lists are updated. These lists are used by the working group chairs to send out any notices of meetings coming up or any policy or action alerts related to the working group. And this is also going to be a guide to get our partner logos up on our website and our different working group and coalition portals. So I've listed them all here. If everyone will just take a minute and make sure that you are signed up under the correct working group, that we have your current affiliation or position and email address up to date. So I will be using this for the logos for our partners, and then also our working group chairs use this for contact. So I know a lot of people over the break had emailed that they were interested in joining different groups. So if you haven't been added to those groups, you can either email me or add yourself into these contacts here. So if everyone will just take a minute or two to go over and make sure your information is up to date. And for anyone watching the recording, we'll make sure that these links are in the notes that go out with this too, or notes in the description.
Great, thank you. Okay, I'm going to pass it now to Haley to talk through some of the SNAP updates that we have.
Yeah, so the first update is that the cost of living adjustment for 2024 has been issued. So that means that Social Security income, disability, and veterans payments may see an increase in the cost of living with those payments, which means a decrease in their SNAP benefits because their income increases, which means their eligibility for SNAP decreases. The estimate for households right now that are affected is about a $27.42 decrease per month. This is going to affect about a third of SNAP participants. And so just if you have anybody, if you're working in an area that you see SNAP clients, just kind of let them know that this is happening and that this was effective for the month of January. I don't know if it would show up as a decrease in January, but it should in February, unfortunately. So again, just alert any clients you may have that may be worried about this. And you can find more information about that on the DCFS website. They did post about this.
One quick, can you clarify? So
Yeah.
people are getting an increase to Social Security, VA benefits, and RSDI, which I can't remember what that means.
Disability, yeah.
Thank you. Yes, disability. So because of that increase in their income, it will mean a decrease in their SNAP benefits, correct?
Correct, yes.
Got it. Thank you. I just want to make sure that I had that math right. Okay, go ahead.
They're encouraged to have participants just, as always, I think you should encourage participants every year to report any changes to their income or household size. But especially right now, if there is increase in their expenses or household size, if their income has decreased or increased, I wouldn't report if it's increased. If their income is decreased, I would encourage them to report that because they may be able to maximize the use of SNAP. Second update is summer EBT, which is a bit of a mess right now in Louisiana. As of January 1st, there were 35 states in all 5 U.S. territories that announced that their intent to launch in the summer of 2025, which would provide students with $120 total for the summer, so about $30 a month in EBT. So for the kids who are receiving food at school, like summer or the school lunch program and breakfast program, they would receive the money for food during the summer. Louisiana is not currently on this list. And as of yesterday, we were updated that it is currently in the talks at the administration at Louisiana Department of Education. We are working on our advocacy plan so that when we find out more information, we can kind of jump on this opportunity to get Louisiana on that list. We also spoke with an individual at FNS, and they are more than willing to work with Louisiana, even if we, the January 1st deadline was to acknowledged your intent to launch, and they said it's fine. We'll work with you if that's something that they're willing to do, which is great news. So we're stay updated with us on our advocacy plan for that. And the last update is there is currently a request for comment that the USDA and FNS has put out there regarding COVID and SNAP data. So they're kind of trying to go back and look at what happened during COVID-19 that impacted SNAP. How did it impact families? Kind of just an overall view of what worked, what didn't work, and a guide for what to do in the future when there's current emergencies equivalent to this. So if you feel so inclined, there's a link right here on the page, and I think someone put it in the chat just now. And comments, I believe, go through, let's see, February or end of the, let's see, I think it's the 22nd. Yeah, January 22nd. So if you can get your comments in by that would be great. I will be commenting on that.
So a few things to add.
Yeah.
Summer EBT is what was called, thank you, Haley, I'm sorry. Summer EBT is what used to be called pandemic EBT. And so now it is just sort of it's where students get, I think can get $124 to help pay for food during the summer when we know kids are not in school. And that is a time of sort of greatest need for families because so many kids get so many meals from school. So this is something that your state had to opt into and have a plan for how it would be implemented. Louisiana did not, as Haley said, choose as of now to participate in summer 2024. And so the Department of Education has reached out to the administration, like the state administration, to find out if this is something they want to do. We are waiting to find out if, like, sort of what they say, if we should advocate. Like if they say we don't want it, then we will advocate very strongly against that. And if we don't hear anything, we will continue to advocate and ask for an answer. And then if for some reason the administration just decides they're not going to do it for 2024, then we will begin very strong advocacy for 2025. And then the other thing that I wanted to say is for in the request for comment, they have to acknowledge all of these comments, or they have to read comments. So while it feels like, why would I comment when, millions of other people might be, they have to acknowledge it. And if everyone comments sort of like one way or they have to respond to comments, I guess is what I'm saying. So please do comment on that. Thank you. Okay, so now policy updates at the state and federal level. So Farm Bill, the last we heard yesterday is that we're still waiting for a draft to be released. I heard yesterday morning that it looks like a draft will be released in March, April, but then yesterday afternoon this morning I heard from a partner that it looks like September at the earliest that a draft will be released of the Farm Bill. So it's still up in the air. As a reminder, a continuing resolution was passed in late 2023 that reauthorized it until September of 2024. We're hearing that it will likely, because it's an election year, not be reauthorized in 2024. So they may have another continuing resolution, and 2025 will be when it is finally reauthorized. As of right now, the appropriations, which is kind of like how much money they're willing to spend on the Farm Bill, has not been finalized. The House released theirs. It was very conservative. It went back to like 2006 levels, I think. I may have made that year up, but it went way back. And then the Senate released theirs, and it was a lot more sort of generous and in line with how we sort of expected appropriations. So what they're working on now is coming up with a consensus on what that appropriations will be, and it should be final in the next few weeks. The good thing about the Farm Bill taking so long is that it does give us more time to advocate. So we will be doing some in districts around the state in early spring in Letlow's district. We may be doing another one in Carter's district, to get, to get them kind of on farms and at ECE centers and at different events, to understand the impact of the Farm Bill. Does anybody have any Farm Bill questions? All right. The Louisiana legislative session, there's a special session that starts on Monday. The regular session starts March 11th and runs until June 3rd. This is not a budget year. So it's just sort of a, quote unquote, regular session. Some of the things that we're going to be looking at in the session, is Grow the Good, trying to get that reauthorized, for more funding and more support. Looking at Disaster SNAP, our report will be released by then, and we're looking at sort of what are the legislative asks around Disaster SNAP. And then Farm to ECE or Farm to Early Care and Education. That'll be some of our focus. We may, that will not be the only focus. Those are just sort of the things we're looking out for now. If you know of something that is coming on this session that we should be aware of, please, please, please let us know. We can't keep track of every food-related bill, or food-related sort of, state movement. So please keep us posted on if there's anything that we should be advocating for or against. We're very open to that. We will be sending updates regularly during the session to keep you posted on what advocacy that we need to be doing. March, it tends to start kind of slowly, the session, and then come like May and June is when it gets really intense with advocacy, but we'll keep you posted on all of that. And you guys also, please keep us posted. One exciting thing about the legislative session this year for us is that, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later in the meeting, but we have an amazing Xavier University food policy training that we're doing with students. It's like a paid fellowship, and we are going to be bringing them to Baton Rouge for a day to learn and see and participate. So super excited to sort of get students to Baton Rouge to teach them. Any questions about the session or anything that we should be looking out for?
Hey, Alyssa, I have a question on more on the summer feeding piece.
Yes.
I didn't know if the right time to interject, so I'll just take this one. But I'm just concerned about that and wondering if there's like if there's like a separate group that's strategizing around that, because it seems like some governors are making a political point around not participating in the program. And I would hate for our new governor to do that, and wonder if before he goes on record, like as being against this Biden era summer feeding program, we could get to the DCFS secretary. I know Haley mentioned DOE, Department of Ed, but you mentioned DCFS, I think. So just understanding who makes that decision, what new secretary, we would need to contact. But I think I'm a little concerned that the previous administration didn't just submit our intent to participate before they left office. And so I guess I'm just wondering, is there an opportunity to do a little more strategizing around pushing the state to participate, and even just creating some data around how many children would stand to lose, and how many grocery stores would lose out on X number of dollars of EBT, additional EBT. And then lastly, related to the legislative session, I think if it looks like Louisiana is not going to participate this year, that in the session, maybe we consider introducing a bill requiring the state to participate in summer, available summer EBT programs, and force the legislators to vote no on feeding kids. I mean, it's just a thought, but I think this whole political thing around not giving food to kids is a little ridiculous.
Yeah,
Totally
I've seen
agree.
claims like that. Or other states, I've seen horrific claims about childhood obesity being brought in, just ridiculous things. And Alyssa, correct me if I'm wrong, but DCFS was in support of this. We're waiting
Yes.
on administration from
Yes.
under Department of Ed. There
DCFS
was go ahead.
and DOE both want it. they're waiting. I think, yes, we just sort of, yesterday is when we started like the wheels turning on all of these sorts of things and figuring it out. Because that's when they sort of announced who had formally opted in and out. So yes, I would love, we have an email chain with some folks from around the state who are interested in working on this. So let's add you to that. And Haley, can you help sort of call together a meeting of folks, or help me remember to call together a meeting of those folks, maybe for early next week, or at least an email, something, so that we can kind of get involved with that. And if that's something that you, anybody on this meeting wants to be involved with, please let us know. Like Lindsay, thank you for modeling that, Lindsay. Let us know that you would like to be included in that, and we will get that moving.
Okay. thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think
Louisiana
this-
Budget Project has, and SCAN have already, said to us that they would like to collaborate. So it's great.
Awesome. Yeah, and the last thing I'll say is I think just from Lindsay's note, I think thinking about, the right messenger, like this, the food banks are typically, great messengers for the conservative lawmakers, just saying like how much EBT offsets the demand for their emergency food supplies. And I see the DCFS secretary is from Shreveport. So if there's like a Shreveport food bank connection that could maybe talk to him directly, just thinking about who he might, who might have a direct link to the new secretary at DCFS might be good.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, so this is a great sort of segue into some really exciting. So those are our policy updates. Now we're going to move into FPAC updates. This is really exciting. We have been funded to expand statewide. So we will be starting a Louisiana FPAC in 2024. We have been funded to incubate, that's a terrible word, but to provide technical assistance and help start 3 to 5 food policy councils in the next 5 years. This is funding through the state through a CDC grant. New Orleans FPAC is obviously the flagship group. The reason that we have been funded to do this is because of all the great work of NOLA FPAC and all of our partners. Our first group that we will be sort of helping to incubate or provide technical assistance is a group in Alexandria in central Louisiana. They currently exist, but need sort of some more support. As well, we're starting a statewide network of policy advocates. And so I think that this conversation we were just having about summer EBT is like, all sort of part of that is pulling in people from statewide, from around the state. As we've seen, we can't just work by ourselves in order to get a lot of change. We need people from around the state, from Shreveport, from everywhere. And so this is, a move toward that. So we are really excited. This will not be taking focus away from New Orleans, to be clear. NOLA FPAC will continue to be supported and will continue just as it is right now. We're just adding statewide capacity in general, or adding statewide capacity, in addition. I don't know why I'm having trouble with my words. We will be fully launching it in Q2. So April, we'll have logo and all of that. So very, very exciting. I think it's a natural move for NOLA FPAC. And really it's only possible because of the work of all of you in this room and this great coalition we've built, the support we have, and that we will continue to build and sort of grow here. So we'll have more information about it, but super, super excited about it. Does anybody have any questions? Can you go back another slide? Anybody have any questions about that one? There will be more info to come. Okay, great. Okay, and when I'm talking about expanding capacity, we are also hiring, and we are hiring with in conjunction with New Orleans Health Department for a food access specialist. This will be housed in City Hall, but will be an FPAC employee. So it's, you know, one of those public-private partnerships. You can read about it here. Bryn, I believe, dropped the link in the chat for, you know, to read more about it and to apply. Super, super excited. Anything to add, Jeannie?
No, I just excited, sharing my excitement, and also that we've gotten a few great applications already. I was excited to see the people that were just immediately interested. So, but you know, there's still some more time for submissions and advertisements, so please share widely.
Yeah, we are hoping to cut off, you know, to begin interviewing and sort of cut off applications at the end of January. So there's a little bit of time to pass it around to folks who you think might be interested. And this, I'm going to talk a little bit more about it in another slide, but this will make 2 food-related positions in City Hall in 2024 that we've gotten, because we are going to talk about it, but we have an urban ag liaison as well. So super excited. And this is, you know, all thanks to the advocacy work of our partners in the room. So please spread the word about this job opening. I think it's an exciting sort of position for someone who's interested in policy and interested in sort of the governmental side of things. It's like a great hybrid position. And I think it's going to really help with capacity for the food system, and, you know, efficiency. I think it'll help with efficiency like crazy. Does anybody have any questions or comments about that? All right, moving right along. I'm going to pass it to Haley now.
Okay, so Farm to ECE, we have a current statewide committee that meets, I think it's every month or every other month. Our next meeting is February 20th at 1 p.m. If anybody would like to join, please reach out to me or Alyssa, and we'll add you to that group. It's been great so far this year since we relaunched it. We are going to be trying to do some quarterly webinars and events that will highlight the successes around the state. So we have a center here that we will be highlighting in New Orleans, and then we're looking for some other centers across the state to highlight as well. And then Alyssa just, I think, popped in the chat the Children's Coalition Farm to ECE program. And we are doing a spring carrot crunch to be like our first big event at the centers. That will be during the week of March 4th to 8th. And we would love for any participation. We will be sharing that on our social media and whatnot. We're planning on doing that. We are, with Policy Equity Group, we are trying to do an in-person meeting March 8th, which Alyssa, I just found out today, was approved. So we're all set for that. And so that will be in Baton Rouge, where we're having our statewide group meet for an in-person meeting, because we don't often get to do that with everybody around the state. So we're really excited for that. And we will be launching that carrot crunch that week, which is going to be similar to how our Satsuma Peel was back in, I think it was October that we did that. And so getting, you know, fresh carrots to the schools, hopefully, fingers crossed, my carrots are growing in the garden and we can just use our garden carrots. If not, we will be connecting with our local farmers to get some carrots to let the kids all do a carrot crunch. Oh yeah, sorry, March 7th. That is the date that we are convening in person.
I'd also love, this is a Farm to ECE movement, but I think it would be super cute, and I'm just making this up on the fly, if any organizations want to join in and like take pictures of your staff doing a carrot crunch in support, that would be so fun. Bryn will be making sort of a media branding kit situation for the carrot crunch that we will be sending out to everyone, but I think it'd be really fun to have, you know, folks from all over the state and all different sectors, like, you know, crunching on carrots the week of March 4th through 8th.
Yes. Awesome. So if anybody's interested, please send me an email and I will get you all the information that you need. Currently we have a flyer here. So we're looking to onboard a few more centers in throughout the year. We have 2 centers currently. And we are aiming for 5 in the total for this year. So if you have any centers that you think would be interested, or if you know somebody, please feel free to share this flyer. I will put it in a shareable format that can be sent out. But this is kind of what Farm to EC is, like a little overview, and then how FPAC can help the center. So anything that we can do to assist. And my email is at the bottom there. So again, any early care centers, so ideally Head Start ages 3 to 5 is who we work with most, but anywhere from 0 to 5 centers couldn't be eligible. So please share the word. We'll get a flyer out to everybody, but this is the gist of it. And if anyone has any questions, please let me know. All right, moving on to Food Access Working Group. Our next meeting is January 17th at 10:30 a.m. I know we've been meeting in the past the third Wednesday of the month at 1 p.m. This recent poll for this month showed that more earlier in the morning to early afternoon was better for individuals. So we are hosting our first in-person meeting since I don't know what year. So we are going to meet at the Rosa F. Keller Library and Community Center. We have a meeting room set aside. I believe the meeting room that I picked can seat 24, but if we need to go bigger, I can. So right now, I think there's a solid amount of people that responded to me that said they were coming in person. I think we're at least 6 people besides Casey and myself will be in person, but in case you're not able to make it in person, I will also make sure a Zoom is set up so that you can attend that meeting if you're able. And if not, I will try to remember to record the meeting. And if not, we will send out all of the meeting notes and everything to anybody who was not able to attend. We are going to be discussing the questions and finalizing the questions that we would like to ask our stakeholders and organizations. Casey and I will be doing little interviews at the end of the month with different orgs about their role in SNAP and what their clients need from them, what they are offering to clients, and how they kind of are navigating their space with SNAP. And so we're just trying to get as much information as possible to be able to provide resources in the SNAP like workbook that we're creating that can be sent out. So we are looking forward to doing that, and then discussing the future of FOG. We, at the last CHIP meeting that we had with Department of Health, decided that CHIP and FOG should kind of merge. We have a lot of the same people in the room and a lot of the same topics. So we're working on that. Daisy, Casey, and I will be meeting soon to figure out what the future of FOG looks like. From what my understanding is right now, we'll always have kind of a little project to be working on, such as the SNAP workbook right now. Our next topic is likely going to be college hunger and campus hunger. So that's kind of the gist, but then also taking FOG and CHIP and merging those together to get continual updates every month and those kinds of things that we were kind of, had 2 different meetings for that now we're hoping to just combine into one. So there'll be a ton of stuff to go over at that meeting. If you're able to make it, please do. Like I said, we'd love to see you in person. So, and if not, that's totally fine.
Thanks, Haley. Let's see, Chandra or Eric, do y'all want to give a quick biz dev update?
Hi, good afternoon. Good morning. I guess I have darkness, so it's afternoon for me. We have some exciting New Year news. Happy New Year. We are excited that, yay, on the screen, the City Council voted yes to amend code sections 11.0 to 212 and 11.0 to 215, and very excited about Glizzy's by Papa, Mayor's Frozen Lemonade, LA Snack Shop, Big O Pops, and the Iceberg Italian Ice being able to vend within the Blue Parade. And then we're also working through how to support within the Mardi Gras season. This will be a period of informative assessments and informing small businesses, mobile vendors of the current status. Thank you to Eric for reaching out to our night mayor to try to get stipulations around the clean zones. And so for 2024, we're really trying to be informative so that businesses don't have to be reactive but proactive within the current legislation and permitting perimeters. And then our meetings will be talking about in the future, as we've advocated for the mobile vending, the push for pop-ups to be cost efficient for businesses, axles and food trucks. We're also adding, this sounds exciting for everybody that wants to be a part of this, a clean zone subcommittee or work group to really support, and especially because the Super Bowl will be here next year, there's a lot of calls for DBEs and small businesses to participate locally to make sure they're properly permitted. We're pushing that out in the clean zone.
Chandra, can you just quickly explain what a clean zone is for folks who don't know?
Sure. So the city makes a large percentage of its profits off of tourism and off of partially not selling off, but making and brokering deals with large corporations, organizations, conferences, such as Essence to the Super Bowl, to the NBA All-Stars, to Sugar Bowl, to have sanction and right of way to certain facets of the city, which really occupy most of the tourist housing and food lodging that they utilize during the activations of those activities. And so you have to have a permit, have to be approved within that said conference, organization, et cetera, to vend. And so they have their own process and their own streamlined way that people can apply to be a part of it. But we want to make sure the clean zone process isn't in disabling local entrepreneurs, vendors, and those that are here year round to be disengaged from making a profit during that time period. So it's roughly around the French Quarter downtown area, and it's expanded to the Marigny. I think there was some news about it that people became aware of it during Essence Fest with Baldwin Bookstore sub renting their art in New Orleans and then being flagged because of the flyer that the subcontractee created, and it represented an entity that they weren't representing. So you can read more about all of that in the diatribe. Alyssa has placed it in the article from WWL-TV, but needless to say, we want to make it so that those that live here, vend here, work here through year round can benefit from these large tourist-driven, economy-driven events. And so really, we had an initial conversation starting with the Vukre. Shout out to Eric and Cindy for doing that. Eric, Eric wants to say how much he had exciting and fun time engaging all these conversations. That's why he chimed in. But they were saying, like, and if you follow the comments in that December city council meeting, that was kind of the lead into, like, these are some of the next steps. We're excited for this business development change in the code sections from 1979 to now, but where are our next steps? And this can affect more than just those small businesses that were able to zone in that commercial area of Vukre.
Yeah, and one thing to add to that, so the 5 new push carts, that's the limit, both in the French Quarter and in the city. So one of those next steps that we want to take is to kind of separate the two and make sure that, you know, more push carts can be allowable, you know, within the entire city, and separate, you know, kind of the rulings from Vukre and citywide. And I think one thing that's going to be very helpful in that is that if anybody knows anybody considering even opening up a push cart, to go ahead and contact us, because, you know, if they did try to apply right now, they wouldn't be able to, because there's only 5 permits. And one of the kind of issues that came up with our conversations with city council staff members was that there really hasn't been a lot of applications or interest in new push carts, and so it was kind of easy for them to limit these and not kind of do the broader push in the legislation that we were asking for. So, you know, if anybody even has people that kind of have an iota of an idea that they want to do a push cart, they can contact us or me, because I think that's going to be helpful, you know, with our continued conversations with city council and staff. And then as far as the some of the permitting guidelines that we asked for from the city, when we get those, if we get those, we will definitely distribute those to BDWG. So if you want those, just go ahead and sign up with us, or we can also work with the you know, Brenner, Alyssa on getting those out to the big group. Just whatever y'all prefer.
Thank you. And Business Development Working Group does have an email listserv that I will attempt to find the sign up for and put it in these meeting notes. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate all your hard work, especially in the last few months with all this pushing for carts, if you will. And now we'll pass to Bryn to talk seafood.
I'm gonna do the seafood update because Marianne has a class right now. We actually met yesterday, and now's a really good time to jump into the seafood working group if you'd like to. We're doing a series of presentations of the partner organizations within that group. So they're just doing like PowerPoints, letting you know some of the work that they do outside of their seafood focused work. So it's a great way to network, to jump in, to really get to know the group. Yeah, Haley said she jumped in yesterday for the first time. It was super informative. So now's a good time. There's also a lot of cool events coming up. So just to provide a little bit of a clarification, our seafood working group, while we do have a lot of collaborative events with Eat Local, the seafood working group is more of a like policy focus and advocacy based group, whereas Eat Local is more of like a marketing that encompasses more than just seafood. So the next two slides, you're going to see a little bit of an overlap, but just providing clarification on that. Some of the things that we have upcoming in 2024 is working on a seafood passport with our partners at Restore the Mississippi River Delta and Audubon Gulf. Audubon Gulf is Gulf United for Lasting Fisheries. It's the Audubon Nature Conservancy's seafood program. They just did their presentation yesterday. We can share that presentation with y'all as well. We had 2 Eat Local bike tours last year, and our next one, we plan on holding it in that sweet spot in April between French Quarter Fest and Jazz Fest, and wanting to do a seafood focused one with particularly highlighting our friends at Porgy's. We've all, like enjoyed Dana and Marcus at the farmers market for the last few years, but it's great to have a location Porgy's. So we're going to try to like center our bike tour and our demos and all around a seafood focused event. So if anybody wants to connect, if you know anyone nearby, looking around, not necessarily strictly seafood, but thinking about around that area and places that we can go for our bike tour. And then some of the discussions that came up yesterday, there seems to be a priority for shrimp advocacy. So we're going to kind of do like a little ad hoc shrimp subgroup. The plight of shrimpers right now is pretty dire. There's a lot of things that overlap, with agriculture and coastal restoration, coastal erosion, and, our restaurant sourcing and shrimp, particularly around import labeling. So working on some shrimp advocacy for that, if you want to get in to some shrimp work. And then next month, the cook-off for the coast is happening at Dockville Farms. I have the link for that. I believe that you can still sign up to be one of the cook-off teams. You can always sign up to sponsor as well. You can also go. It's really cool going. It's like right outside the city. It's not too far. And they have samples if you go. So, and it's after Mardi Gras, so you have a little bit of a rest in between. But you can contact me or Marianne if you want to get into this. Our next meeting is going to be February 21st at 11, but we typically meet on the second Wednesday of the month, but next month it's going to be Ash Wednesday, so we are not doing that. And then our Eat Local committee meets at the end of the month, every last Monday of the month at 1 p.m. We're working on a new branding and identity. We, kind of have a lot more buy-in this year that has kind of been absent the last few years as we've learned to adjust, taking on Eat Local as well as moving through the pandemic. So we kind of found some bearings, and we've got a new identity that we're exploring, also exploring membership options because everybody loves, the swag or buying in or having a t-shirt or having tote bags. So looking into those options, but how it still aligns with our sustainability goals. So that's the kind of things that we talk about in our Eat Local committee meetings. If you wanted to join, we're also looking forward to highlighting some of the distillers that participate in Garden to Glass throughout the year and having little happy hour nights over at their place. And like I said, before, we're working on a local food bike tour. We have one planned for April, and then we're going to be doing another one in the fall. So if anybody wants to plug into those, we're always looking. Last time we were able to source some loofah from Veggie. So always looking into like sourcing options that we can give that are really, like sustainable, reusable options to give out as swag. And we're also interested throughout the year, if you have a farm or a location that wants to host a tour, if you want to do a demo, we've had, like mustard making demos, we've had yoga in the farm. So any sort of like pop-up tastings or workshops that you want to explore, we can connect on that, and let's get it on the Eat Local calendar. Alyssa, am I missing anything?
I don't think so. That's a lot. And very exciting. We're super excited to like revamp or re-energize Eat Local, especially since we got June declared Eat Local month last year with council and all of that sort of stuff. So join us. All right. So our climate and disaster working group, right now we are working on, there is a farmer climate gathering next week. It is sold out. There will be like 250 farmers. We'll be talking about climate, sharing strategies, being community, that sort of thing. There is a wait list. I will, maybe Devin can drop that in the link if that's not too much to ask. So that if you want to go and you haven't signed up, you can be on the wait list. It is a free gathering. It's at Chico State Park in Ville Platte. I will be there. Super excited about that. And then the other thing that we're doing for climate and disaster, if you all remember, we sent out that survey last year asking for information about resources that were available. And I think we were a little unclear on how it would be used. And I think that's because we weren't sure at the time. But this will be an internal document that will be so that people in the food system know what's available to each other and know sort of what the needs are. So we will be in touch to ask you again to please add your information to this now that we're clearer that it won't just be like, we're not going to make this and send it out to like the whole city. It will be really so that us within the food system kind of know who to call and what's out there when a disaster strikes. So we are going to try again to have it ready for hurricane season. So we'll be in touch about that. And if you will be at the farmer climate convening, come say, hey, I'll be there. And now I'm going to pass to Devin.
I actually do not have the wait list.
I will find it while you're chatting.
Great, thank you. Sorry. Hi everyone. Sorry for the sick voice, and if I end up coughing, I'm a little under the weather for a week now. But yeah, okay. So food production working group, as a reminder, is synonymous with the A Greener New Orleans campaign. That is a campaign to address some of the worst or the most significant barriers for folks in New Orleans to growing their own food. So a couple of really exciting updates. We got the Urban Ag Liaison position funded, so that will be housed under the Office of Resilience and Sustainability. We're really excited about this. Yeah, huge win. Didn't really think it was going to happen, but then it did at the last minute. So really great work, everyone, on submitting public comments and that all of that. So hopefully that will we will be standing that position up this year and doing a lot of work as a community to make sure that that role is successful, especially because there isn't really anyone within city government currently who has the deep connections to the urban agriculture community or kind of technical knowledge. So kind of making sure that from our side that we're doing the best that we can there. Yeah, thank you again, everyone, for those public comments and all the support you've given thus far. We are doing a pretty robust community input process just to make sure that nothing has really shifted in how we have kind of envisioned this position over the last couple of years of this campaign. So doing individual conversations with kind of key producers, stakeholders, just because everyone is tapped out on giving feedback right now. So trying to be really strategic about how we're collecting that information, and that job will definitely be listed after Mardi Gras, and we'll be sure to make sure that y'all are aware. So be sure to think about it either for yourselves or for folks in the community that know urban ag. It's going to be really important that we get someone who is trusted and knowledgeable in this role. If there are any questions, feel free to let me know. I will drop my email in the chat, and the push continues on all of the other work that is part of that campaign.
Thank you. Yeah, that was one of those things where we thought that we had gotten it, like we were pretty far in the push, and they were like, it's not going to happen. And we were like, oh no, okay, we'll start trying again next year. And then somebody, I think Devin, got a text or something that was like, it's on the docket, it's going up tomorrow. And so we quickly made public comment, and it passed. Because yeah, so it was a great push. Thank you to everyone who made public comment, like Devin said. Because that's really kind of what pushed it over. The mayor had sort of taken it out of her budget, or not put it in the budget. And then city council said, no, we want it back into the budget. So it was great. Even ORS was like, we kind of can't believe this happened either. So, and that's legitimately thanks to everyone making comment and pushing the city on that. So that's sort of the second city related food job. They will be across the hall from each other. I believe that ORS and the health department are very close by. So our new food systems, food access specialist and the urban ag liaison will be on the 8th floor. I cannot remember. 8th floor. Thank you. Yes, Jeannie, on the 8th floor. And we are just really thrilled about that. And again, thanks to everybody's advocacy on that. One last, like super fun thing that I wanted to mention, that we are doing is, I mentioned it earlier, but we're doing the Xavier University Food Policy Advocacy Fellowship, where we're paying students and community members. We have one community member to be part of this advocacy training at the university. It is a partnership between FPAC, Xavier University, and the National Black Food and Justice Alliance. And so you can see this picture here of some of our students. We gave them all a copy of Freedom Farmers, and actually the author of Freedom Farmers will be speaking to the students next month as like part of our book club with them. We're going to be focusing on Hunger-Free Campus in 2024. So the students will be coming up with, priorities. They will be doing a campaign push. They'll be participating in a council meeting that we're hoping to get them to. They will be doing an event on campus, putting together materials, learning about how to communicate about policy advocacy. We're going to be going to the Capitol to be talking about this. And so we're just really excited because this is kind of the next generation of advocates and leaders. We're also hoping that they will be part of some of our working groups and part of some of these meetings. So, be on the lookout for them. They are a really excited, eager group. So kind of wanted to end on that high note. And then now's the time to share what you have going on. I know that some of us out here are hiring, so you can drop that link or talk about it. Is there anything we need advocacy on? How to, what you got? This is your time now.
If we want to scroll over to the calendar too, I know we threw a lot of dates at you in a lot of different orders. So hopefully you can like screenshot this or, email us if you want a particular Google Calendar invite for this. But if we could just like have that up, if that's easy, just kind of like gives it an order. It made me feel better, so.
I'll also take this second just to introduce myself really quickly. I'm Daisy Ellis. I'm the chronic disease policy person at NOHD. So I I think Haley spoke earlier. I'm co-leading the chip there and going to be participating in the FOG. And I just wanted to say hi and nice to meet everyone. And thanks for this great meeting.
Hey, Daisy, thanks for coming. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Muted myself. Sorry. Hi, everyone. Lindsay with Second Harvest Food Bank. Just a quick announcement, and this is mostly related currently to Jefferson Parish, but in Jefferson Parish, we are about to launch a mobile market, so a roving grocery store, that will be, the first stop will be in Avondale Wagaman community because it is a food desert. We just posted a position for a mobile market coordinator. So we need a new friend to help us operate that program. So if y'all know anyone who is interested in that type of work, please share. But we're excited. Thanks, Alyssa. We're excited about the program and hoping to bring it to other communities outside of Jefferson Parish in the future. So more to come.
Great.
I have one.
Please go ahead. I'm sorry, Dimitri. Please, you're up.
Oh, cool. Hi, my name is Dimitri. I'm the program manager at Research Farms. I just wanted to let y'all know that we recently got funding to expand our veterans agricultural and education programming beyond just a VA. A couple of years ago, we helped set up like a therapeutic and teaching garden where there's some raised beds and hydroponic towers. We're now able to expand beyond just a VA to work with other veteran support organizations like the VFW, specifically Bastion Community up in Gentilly. So if anyone here is a veteran and knows veterans in their circles that may be interested in participating in like ag education, have them reach out to me. I'll drop my email in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Dimitri. That's great. And it looks like we have some connections happening in the chat.
I'm like,
Love that.
quick pop up. We have like chickens and all that stuff. So it'll be amazing to help with the urban ag a little bit more consistently with Bastion. But I put a note that we're hiring. One of our MSC's positions was filled for NOLA VA, but I put in the active open position in the chat as well. And then wanted to give a shout out to Sinedra. I don't know if I did that when we did our business development update, but she was one of the biggest champions on the threads and the meetings and the calls. She also has an opening for some food vendors, and I'm pretty sure Eric does have some openings as well for the commissaries. Hers closes at the end of this week, I believe. So just want to put that in the chat as well. Or I'll say it and then I'll put it in the chat.
Eric and I were joking about getting a tattoo of Sinedra's face because she's so amazing. Market Umbrella, I know, is hiring a director of finance and ops. So I have dropped that in the chat as well. Veterans are dedicated to the chickens. I can't love our chat more. Tattoos and chickens. That's where our chat is at the end of the meeting, and I love it. Anybody else have anything going on they want to share? I will just blanket say I probably owe half the people in this meeting an email, and I'm working on it.